Hello students, our today's topic is a classical test of general relativity. That is some of the predictions given by the Newton theory, which we called as a classical test. And this classical test there is a slightly difference by the general relativity. This is done by the Einsteins. Okay, so first test is our advance of perihelion of Mercury. There are total 5 tests here, but out of which we have only 3 in our syllabus. So first one is the advance of perihelion of Mercury that we are going to see in this today's lecture. The second one is the bending of light rays, and the third one is shift in the spectral lines or the gravitational shift. And the fourth and fifth are 2 more tests: the precision of gyroscope in the orbit around the Earth, and the fifth one is the Shapiro time delay of light near the Sun. The first one, that is advance of perihelion of Mercury. Okay, so let's see what is meant by the advance of perihelion of Mercury. We see this one by one. Okay, so first one is about our advance of perihelion of Mercury. So you know about the perihelion. Since the planet Mercury is revolved around the Sun, so if we take the figure, so Sun is here, right? This is our Sun, and this is an elliptical orbit formed by the Mercury. And this planet Mercury is very close to the Sun. That is, this is the nearest planet to the Sun. And the orbit taken by the Mercury is elliptical orbit. That is, all planets are revolved around the Sun in a elliptical orbit. And since the planet Mercury is very near to the Sun, therefore it was perfectly elliptical orbit for the planet Mercury. And this point, that is, which is near to the Sun, these points are very near to the Sun, and this point is away from the Sun, right? If the planet Mercury is near to the Sun at this point, then this is called as a perihelion. Perihelion means when the planet is near to the Sun, and when it is here, that is, it is farthest from the Sun. This distance is farthest from the Sun. Therefore, it is called aphelion. Okay. So we have to see the advance of perihelion of Mercury. That is, when perihelion completes this one rotation, when the planet Mercury completes this rotation, it changes its orbit slightly. Okay, like this, or it may be in this way. Okay, so there was a change in the perihelion. That is, this perihelion, if the planet is here, then it is shifted to here or here. Okay, or this is maybe here. So what the planet is shifted, or we can say that the perihelion, that is the point which is near to the Sun. That is, at the moment when planet is near to the Sun, this elliptical orbit changes its position slightly. Okay, it's a very small. We call this as a precession. What we call this as precession. Okay, so the Einstein study about this, that this precession is very small, but there is absolutely precision. That is, this precision is predicted firstly, but then proved it that this is correct. Okay, so when we have to see in here, we have to derive this, what is the slight shift in the perihelion of Mercury. And this perihelion is occurred due to the disturbance of the other planet in an actual orbit of a given planet. Means when the planet is rotating here, so disturbance of the other planet due to the curvature of the space-time of Sun, that is, its own gravitational field of Sun, due to that and the disturbance of the other planet, this perihelion occurs. Perihelion, it means that there is a shift in the elliptical orbit in which our planet Mercury is rotating, and we measure the shift in the angle, that is we measure the shift in the angle. So what we call that as arc, that is, there is a shift in this, therefore we how much shift, that is how much degree or change in the elliptical orbit. So we have the another figure which describes the how much change is there. So here is another figure, that is this one, and there was a slightly elliptical orbit get shifts. Okay, so here is the sun, and this was the distance, and here this elliptical orbit gets shifts. So this is an angle which formed by the, here is the planet Mercury and here is the sun, and this is what the, this point is going shifted to this, because this elliptical orbit is get rotated. Okay, like this means if this is here, then it is get rotated slightly. So there is an angle delta phi which is very small, and it could be measured that Newton theory considered all known disturbances by outer planet was 532 seconds per century. Here the degree is measured in a second, because we know that 1 degree is equals to 60 minutes, that is denoted by 60 dash, and 1 minute is denoted by 60 seconds, right? So here it is double dash, that is the relation between the degree and the minutes, relation between minutes and seconds. Okay, so this is about the what is meant by the advance of perihelion, so shift in the elliptical orbit, right? And for the Newton's theory, it is 532 per second, and the excess, that is 43 double dash per century, 43 double dash, that is 43 seconds per century is the excess which is not predicted by the Newton theory. Newton theory has only predicted 532 seconds per century, but it not predicted more 43 seconds. So Einstein proved that there is a slightly more perihelion in the actual orbit, that is of actual elliptical orbit, and which is 43 seconds per century. And how much shift is there in 43 seconds per century? This is given by the Einstein. So Einstein proved this is an excess in the actual orbit, actual perihelion of the orbit. Okay, so this is about the theoretical part of this statement, and we are going to see the mathematically how to prove that this is a change in the elliptical orbit, that is delta phi is 43 seconds per century. Okay, now we are going to see the mathematical formulation of this. The mathematical formulation of advanced perihelion of Mercury, that is we are proving by mathematically. So we require the equation of the elliptical orbit, and which we are defined by using the equation of planetary orbit that we have seen in the previous lectures. Okay, and from this we require the change, because advanced perihelion means change in the elliptical orbit. So for that we require the disturbance, and the disturbance is taken by the perturbation theory. The perturbation theory means the disturbance, we take a small disturbance to derive the equation. Okay, so let's see the mathematical formulation. So we consider firstly the equation of planetary orbit. The equation of planetary orbit is our u double dash plus u equals to m upon h square plus 3 mu square, comma u equals to 1 upon r, comma u dash equals to du upon d phi. As we have seen in the last lecture that the equation of planetary orbit is u double dash plus u m upon h square plus 3mu square, where u is taken as the radial coordinate which is reciprocal of 1 upon r, and u dash, that is a velocity with respect to phi coordinate, is du upon d phi. And where the term 3mu square, this is additional term that in Newtonian classical theory, this term is not present. We have only the equation u double dash plus u equals to m upon h square, and this term 3mu square is the small addition to the classical equation. So we solve this equation 1 by perturbation method. Okay, so we solve equation 1 by perturbation method because we require the change in the perihelion of Mercury. Mercury is planet, so we are taking the equation of planetary orbit, and we require the change, that is shift in the elliptical orbit. So for that we require the disturbance, and the disturbance is taken by the perturbation method. So we take this, for the small disturbance we take a equals to m upon h square, that is we are taking this quantity as a, and the small disturbance is epsilon, which is 3ma, 3 times m into a. Okay, so this is our small disturbance, where what is m is here? M is mass. Okay, now see, epsilon equals 3 into ma. We substitute the value of a here, that is m upon h square equals to capital A, and the value of 3m is equals to epsilon upon a. What from this we comes, therefore 3m equals to epsilon upon a. So we have here u double dash plus u, that is equation 1 implies u double dash plus u equals to a plus epsilon u square upon a. This is equation number 2, where epsilon is any small quantity which is dimensionless, means it has no dimension. And as this is a equation this is differential equation of a second order, because u double dash is here, so we have the solution of this equation in the form u is equals to u of phi, which is equals to u0 of phi plus epsilon v of phi plus order of epsilon square. We are taking the solution. Let the solution have the form. Solution of this equation is in the form u equals to u phi, that is, since du upon d phi is there, u dash equals to, so when we integrate this, u becomes the equation in the form of phi, that is u is depend on phi, and so we have u0, that is initial velocity, and v as a final velocity. So we have the solution of this equation in this type. It may be in this type, and to solve this equation we give this as a equation number 3rd, and we neglect the term containing epsilon square, that is we are neglecting the higher order terms, because epsilon is dimensionless quantity, so we are neglecting here the epsilon square term. Therefore if we neglect the term containing epsilon square, with this equation 3 implies. Okay, so equation 3 becomes u is equals to u0 plus epsilon v. We are simply writing u equals to u0. We know that it is depend on phi. We are writing simply as u0 plus epsilon v. Now we substitute the value of this solution, because this is a solution of equation 2. So it satisfies equation 2. This u satisfies equation 2. And therefore we substitute the value of u here. We find the value of u double dash from this equation and substitute it in equation 2. So u equals to u0 plus epsilon v implies u square equals to u0, the square of this term. So u0 square, what is the square of this term? This is nothing but u0 square plus twice u0 epsilon v plus epsilon v square. So epsilon square v square. This is nothing but our, what we write this as, because it contains the epsilon square term, therefore we write this as u0 square plus twice epsilon u0 into v plus order of terms containing epsilon square. O of epsilon square means this is a term containing epsilon square, and we are neglecting this term, so this is equals to u square equals to, we require the epsilon u square. Okay, so this is epsilon u square equals to u0 square plus twice epsilon square u0 into v, and we are neglecting the term containing epsilon square, so we have to neglect this term also, right? So we have, now here this is about epsilon u square equals to, we putting this value, that is we can write this equation as epsilon u square is equals to u0 square plus the term containing epsilon square. As here we are multiplying by epsilon, so here it is epsilon into u0 square. Okay, note down here epsilon into u square, so epsilon, here it is u square, we are multiplying by epsilon, so epsilon u square equals to epsilon u0 square. So here it is epsilon. Okay, I am correcting here. Also we have u equals to u0 plus epsilon v, so from this u dash equals to u0 dash, if we differentiate this, then differentiation of u0 is u0 dash plus epsilon is dimensionless quantity and which depend nothing on phi and all. Okay, so epsilon is constant, the derivative of v is v dash, so we write the differentiation of this term as u dash is equals to u0 dash plus epsilon v dash, and therefore this implies u double dash equals to u0 double dash plus epsilon v double dash, right? Now we substitute this value, substituting above values in equation 2, that is in this equation of differential equation. So we get, what is u double dash? U double dash equals to this term, so u double dash equals to u0 double dash plus epsilon v double dash plus u is equals to, the u equals to u0 plus epsilon v, so u0 plus epsilon v equals to capital A plus epsilon u square. So epsilon u square, our term is epsilon u square equals to epsilon u0 square plus order of epsilon square, so A plus epsilon u0 square plus order of epsilon square, and in the divide we have capital A, so divided by capital A. Now here we have u0 double dash plus epsilon v double dash, we can take the common, here we take the common epsilon from this, so u0 double dash plus u0, this is in bracket, and here from this term we take the common epsilon, so epsilon in bracket v double dash plus v is equals to A plus epsilon u0 square upon capital A, and this order of epsilon we neglecting this term. Okay, so we have A plus epsilon u0 square upon A only. Now we can compare here the like terms, that is here this is constant, so compare with this, so we are comparing the like powers of epsilon, so we have equating like powers of epsilon we get, so here u0 double dash plus u0 equals to capital A, u0 double dash plus u0 equals to capital A, and this is epsilon term is here, this is epsilon terms. Okay, so v double dash plus v equals to u0 square upon A, v double dash plus v is equals to u0 square upon a. We give this as a equation number, this is our 3, this is equation number 4, 3 is completed here, so 4, and this is 5. Okay, now we write equation 4 as here u0 double dash plus u0 equals to a. This is again a differential equation, this is again a differential equation. So we can find first from this equation the value of u0 and substitute this in equation 5 and then solve the equation for v double dash plus v, right? So we write equation 4 as, that is we have to solve this equation, and the differential equation is solved by particular integral by finding particular and complementary function. Okay, so we get, for the complete solution we have to find its complementary function. For this we have to find its auxiliary equation. So to solve equation 4, we first find its auxiliary equation. We first find its complementary function. Okay, so for this its auxiliary equation is okay, so what is the auxiliary equation? It is d square plus 1 into u0 equals to capital A. This implies the equation 4 is written in this form, and this implies m square plus 1 equals to 0. Its auxiliary equation will be this. Okay, and this implies m square equals to minus 1. So what is the value of m? M is equals to plus minus I, right? That is the square root of minus 1 is plus minus I. So it is a complex number, so that when we have the complex root, that is a plus minus ib, then the complementary function is written as e to the power ax in bracket c1 cos bx plus c2 sin bx. Okay, so this is the form when a plus minus ib, or it can be written as complementary function can be written as e to the power x in bracket c1 cos bx plus c. Okay, it can be written in this form also, bx plus c, that is bx plus c2, where b is our imaginary part. Okay, so it may be written in this form or in this form. So these are the forms of the complementary function. So we are going to use this form, and since here a is equals to 0, because real part is 0, so e to the power 0 comes out to be 1. The constant c1 in bracket cos of bx is nothing but our b is our imaginary part, so b, and x is our depending variable. So here this is the auxiliary equation of u0, therefore u0 is depend on phi, so b phi plus c2 is nothing but our constant term. So we are taking here the constant c and c1 as b. Okay, so we have the form as, and this b, small b is nothing but our 1, because imaginary part is 1, so it is phi plus c. So we have here for the complementary function, this is b cos phi plus c. Okay, we are taking the constant c2 as c, c1 as b. The real part a is 0 for this auxiliary equation, and the imaginary part b is equals to 1. So we have the complementary function for this equation is b cos phi plus c. Therefore we write here the complementary function of u0 is u0 equals to, or is equals to directly b cos of phi plus c. Okay, we are solve this using the differential. By solving this differential equation, we get the complementary function as this. And now we solve the particular integral. Okay, so we mention here b and c are B and C are constants. Now we solve this. Again solving this equation, as there is not equals to 0 here, so this is non-homogeneous equation, and for the non-homogeneous equation we have to find the particular integral. Okay, so we find the particular integral of u0 double dash plus u0 equals to a for this equation. Now particular integral for the u0. For u0 is equals to 1 upon d square plus 1 into capital A, because our equation of u0 is u0 double dash plus u0 equal to capital A, and hence we have here 1 upon d square plus 1 into A. So A is constant, this is equals to outside this integral, so A 1 upon d square plus 1 can be written as d square plus 1 whole bracket to the power minus 1, and we know that 1 minus x, its inverse, is equals to 1 minus x plus x square minus x cube plus and so on. So using this, here we have a 1 minus d square plus and so on into 1, and the derivative of 1 is 0 because 1 is constant, so we have only this is a into 1 is a into d square of 1, and d square, that is integral, is 0. So here it is into a. So particular integral for u0 double dash plus u0 equals to a is this one. Now we have the complementary function and the particular integral. So we have the complete solution of the equation 4 as, therefore complete solution of equation 4 is u0 equals to complementary function plus particular integral, which is equals to, complementary function is our, this is complementary function, u0 equals to b cos of phi plus c, plus particular integral is capital A. Now this is our u0, right? Now we have here, if we rotate the axis, because our Mercury is rotating in a elliptical orbit, and when it has a one complete orbit, then at the perihelion it rotates its axis also, that is around which the planet Mercury is itself rotating. So this rotation will give us c is equals to 0, that is the appropriate rotation of axis gives c is equals to 0, that is the constant is equals to 0. Then this equation becomes u0 equals to a plus b cos phi. Now we substitute the value of u0 in equation 5. So our next equation, that is v double dash plus v u0 square upon a, we find this equation by substituting the value of u0 here. So we have equation 5 implies, this is, we give this as equation number 6. Equation 5 implies v double dash plus v is equals to u0 square. What is the square of this? This is a square plus twice a into b into cos phi plus b square cos square phi, and divided by, here it is a, so divided by capital A. So therefore we have v double dash plus v is equals to a square upon a is capital A, plus this a get cancels out twice, b cos phi plus b square upon capital A cos square of phi. Right? Now we know that since cos square of, or we can say that cos of 2 phi, cos of 2 phi is equals to 2 cos square phi minus 1. Cos 2 theta or cos 2 phi, the formula for this is 2 cos square phi minus 1. Therefore from this formula we can write cos square phi as, so cos square phi, we take this 1 to this side, so it is cos 2 phi plus 1, and this 2 is in a multiplication of this, so we have 1 upon 2 in bracket cos 2 phi plus 1. Okay, so we substitute the value of cos square phi, this one here, So we have v double dash equals to v double dash is equals to v double dash plus v is equals to a plus twice b cos phi plus b square upon a. Cos square of phi is 1 upon 2, 1 plus cos 2 phi. Now here we separate the constant term in one bracket and the phi term in another. So multiplying this b square upon this 2 into a inside the bracket. So b square upon twice a we get, and b square upon twice a into cos 2 phi we get. Right. So this is v double dash plus v is equals to a plus, we have b square upon twice a plus 2b cos phi plus b square upon twice a into cos of 2 phi. Right. So this is our equation v double dash plus v. We have simplified up to this. Now we find its particular integral directly. We are not finding the complementary function. Okay. So this equation can also be written as d square plus 1, that is, this is here d square plus 1 because it is here double dash is here. So we have d square plus 1 and v as common. As you know that this how to solve this differential equation. Okay, in the BSc you know about this. So d square plus 1 into v is equals to a plus b square upon twice a plus 2b cos phi plus b square upon twice a cos of 2 phi. Now particular integral of a plus b square upon twice a. Since a plus b square upon twice a, this is constant. So the particular integral of constant is constant term. Right. So the particular integral of a plus b square upon twice a is a plus b square upon twice a. That is constant. Now particular integral for cos phi, because this is constant multiplied by cos phi. So constant can be taken out of the particular integral as we do here. Right. So this is equals to 1 upon d square plus 1 cos of phi. And this is equals to 1 upon 2 phi integral of cos phi d phi. Now this is a method to solve the particular integral. The general method for this is 1 upon d square plus a square cos of a phi. If we have 1 upon d square plus a square cos of a phi, then this is equals to 1 upon 2 phi integral of cos of a phi d phi. This is when we substitute, when we replace d square by minus a square. When we replace d square by minus a square, then f of d square is equals to 0. Okay, that is this term. This is our f of d square. Now if when this term is equals to 0, then we have the formula that this is equals to, that is the particular integral of this function cos of a phi equals to 1 upon 2 phi integral of cos of a phi d phi. Now since here a is equals to, by comparing this cos of a phi with this, we have a is equals to 1. Right. So when a equals to 1, so when we replace d square by minus a square, so here d square plus 1 is our f of d square equals to d square plus 1. When we replace the d square by f of minus 1 square, that is minus 1 square plus 1. Okay, minus is outside the square, so it is minus 1 plus 1 equals to 0. So this is comes out to be 0, and therefore we are using this formula. And the second general formula, when this is not equals to 0, then this is equals to 1 upon f of d square cos of a phi or ax. In general we have the x is here, but for this function we have phi. So cos of a phi is equals to cos of a phi upon f of minus a square, for f of minus a square is not equals to 0. Okay. So when this f of d square is not equals to 0, then it is simply we have to replace d square by minus a square and calculate this f of minus a square, and in the numerator we will have cos of a phi. Okay, so this two formula you have to remember here for finding the particular integral. Here we are finding cos phi, and here a is equals to 1, so minus 1 square plus 1 is 0. Therefore we are using this formula. And when we substitute cos of 2 phi 1 upon d square plus 1. Next we have to find the cos of 2 phi, right? Particular integral of cos of 2 phi. So this is cos of 2 phi. Now here, if we substitute here, minus a is equals to 2 is here. So if we substitute 2 in this d square, that is minus of 2 square plus 1. Minus of 2 square is minus 4 plus 1 equals to 3. Minus 3. So which is not equals to 0. Okay. So when this is not equals to 0, then we use this formula to find the particular integral of cos of 2 phi. So let's see what is the integral of this one. 1 upon 2 phi. Integral of cos phi is sin phi. D phi only sin phi. Okay. So we have 1 upon 2 phi sin phi. Again the particular integral for cos of 2 phi. Now using this formula, that is because of this minus 2 square plus 1 is not equals to 0, that is f of minus a square is not equals to 0. So we are using this formula, and therefore it is equals to the particular integral of d square plus 1 cos of 2 phi is equals to 1 upon minus 2 square plus 1 cos of 2 phi, and this is equals to minus 1 upon 3 cos 2 phi. Hence we have finding the particular integral for each term here. Now we substitute the value of all the particular integral, and thus we have the solution, that is v is equals to, v is nothing but complementary function plus particular integral. But as here we have the auxiliary equation of v double dash plus v is same as u0 double dash plus u0, and we have the common complementary function. This u is equals to u0 plus epsilon v, and thus the complementary function of u0 and complementary function of v is same. Thus we are not taking the complementary function of v and only define the complementary function of u0 and finding here the particular integral of v. So the solution of v is equals to, what we have the solution, the sum of all particular integrals. So a plus b square upon twice a plus 1 upon 2 phi sin phi minus 1 upon 3 cos of 2 phi. Okay, this one and this one. So we have this solution here, right? Now substituting, now we have the u0 and the value of v. Okay, we substitute the value of u0 and v in our solution, that is in u, and which is in equation 3. So we substitute this in the next lecture and see how to solve it further.